Hello and welcome to Charity's Treasures. Today is Dream Vision Saturday, Sunday. I won't be able to have an episode tomorrow because a friend of mine and her husband are going on a mission and their farewell is tomorrow, and there will be a get together after. So I might be at church for a little while. So I decided that I would have this today. And so this is a combination of Lehi's vision, Jacob's ladder, and Peter's vision of what we're going to talk about today. What is Charlie's middle name? What does it mean? Does it have any importance to these three visions, his life, and the future of America? Well, let's see. Charlie was a really important person, wasn't he? Okay, so Charlie's middle name is James. And James means Jacob, coincidentally. So we have talked about the meaning of names this year and have found that these names represent the people we have discussed so far this year. Like everyone I've discussed, their name kind of pretty much represents who they are, right? I think names are very interesting. I look up names all the time. Okay, so yeah, and so I just thought, what is Charlie's middle name? Okay, so if you go on my Substack, all the definitions of his name, what it means, and everything else, and supplanter, which we're going to talk about today, what is a supplanter, you can go on my Substack and read all of that. But I thought there's no point in me just going through all of it. You can just read it on my Substack. Okay, so I was thinking of middle names a few weeks ago. I do not have a middle name because my mom does genealogy, and she was told by actually my kids' grandfather on my ex's side that if we give girls middle names, then if we don't give them middle names, then it's easier to do genealogy. And so my mom never gave me and my sister a middle name. But my brothers do have middle names. So I was thinking of middle names a few weeks ago. And as I was thinking about this, I was wondering what Charlie's middle name was. I looked it up, and his middle name was James. And then I thought I would investigate what that name means. The name James originates from the Hebrew name Jacob. I thought this was interesting because it was at the same time we were covering Jacob's ladder. Coincidence? I think not. What I am learning this year is that everything I need to know comes up or has come up, and it relates to something that will come up. Anyways, I love how God works. Jacob, which James means, James and Jacob are like the same. It means supplanter or holder of the heel. Sounds familiar, doesn't it? We learned about Jacob and how he was born holding his twin brother Esau's heel. Then later, he usurped Esau's birthright and blessing. The term supplanter implies displacing someone by strategy, undermining them, or seizing their position. Though the narrative often shows God using these flawed individuals for his greater purposes, as seen in Jacob becoming Israel. So even though Jacob was kind of using strategy and cunning in his womb to grab his brother's heel and say, I'm going to supplant you when we get out on the earth. It was kind of God, right? As seen, so God uses these flawed individuals, which Jacob, I guess, was flawed in the womb because he did that. He was sneaky. God uses it for his greater purposes, as seen as Jacob becoming Israel. In Jacob, we learn he kind of became a leader through trickery, right? Was God the trickster? Even in the womb, this was going on, right? So, obviously he couldn't have been too much aware of it, but God was in control of it all, right? Was it really Jacob, or was it God who was behind the trickery? Okay, I don't know. Can the devil have influence on us in the womb? It's an interesting thought anyways, right? Anyways, that can't be possible, I'm sure. It also says that a supplanter takes place of another through cunning plans. Jacob was cunning even in the womb. We see this with Jacob's mother, Rebekah. Rebekah tricked Isaac into giving Jacob the birthright blessing that was supposed to be Esau's. Jacob obeyed his mother and went through with her plan. We see here that she was behind the trickery. It also says that a supplanter is someone who takes the place of another through force. As I was thinking about this through force phase, I was thinking about Charlie's life. Charlie was picked by those behind the scenes to become a figure for young people. In this process, there was strategy, scheming, and probably sometimes deceit behind the scenes. Charlie was being set up to be a leader. Jacob was set up to be a leader. Jacob, beginning even in the womb, was being set up to be a leader of Israel. In many ways, Charlie was being set up to become a leader for Israel, at least the Israel government, right? Even though he was not aware of it, this scheming and planning strategy was going on behind the scenes. When Charlie decided he did not want to be controlled by those who were scheming deceitfully behind the scenes, he began to undermine donors and people who were in charge of Turning Point USA. Because of Charlie's decisions and his commentary, they were planning to replace him. So he, in the end, when he was making decisions and had all this commentary about Israel they didn't like, they were like, we have to replace him. They wanted to usurp his position, his role, and his possession as leader of TPUSA to another, someone that they thought would now do their bidding after he was gone. Through another plan of scheming, strategy, and deceit, his undermining went underway. They decided to kill him. After his death, they decided that they were going to replace him and usurp his position, role, and leadership possession of TPUSA. It obviously was done in a wrongful and illegal manner. They tripped him up. One who replaces. The name James, Jacob, signifies one who follows or replaces. Stemming from the biblical story of Jacob, this name is known as a masculine name associated with strength, leadership, and stability. I would say that Charlie was masculine and he was strong. He had good leadership skills. He developed them over time very well. And he was pretty stable in his beliefs. They changed a little bit over time as he grew and gained more knowledge, but he was pretty stable, which is good in a leader. We need leaders that are stable and not just fickle and going all over the place, right? Now, Jacob from the womb was going to be the leader of Israel, and this was an assignment directly stemming from God. God wanted him to be the leader of Israel. He was going to take on the name that would be associated with promised blessings that were associated with Israel. Now, Israel in this manner was different than what we see today when we think of the government of Israel. The government of Israel is not Israel as it pertains to the biblical scripture. The government of Israel is just a world government assigned to the state of Israel. This government is not assigned by God, but it is rather assigned by the world. That's why a lot of people are upset with Israel, their government, because this is not assigned by God. That government is not assigned by God, but assigned by the world, and they are corrupt, right? The government is corrupt. Even though Charlie became a leader by strategy, by the forces of the world, he was called by God to lead the movement. The people of the world behind the scenes thought they were in charge, but God was in charge the entire time. Jacob's ladder. As I was learning all of this information, my mind reverted back to Jacob's ladder. As I was thinking about Jacob's ladder, I was thinking about the vision I had of my ladder. In the beginning of the vision, I saw Charlie. Charlie was giving a pill to another man. This man is on the earth today, right? Charlie, in this way, was supplanting this man by strategy in my Jacob's ladder vision. as I was thinking about this dream or vision, I thought about how the vine, remember the vine that starts to grow around, and it started to grow around this man's bare feet and heel. And I was like, why is his feet? Why does he have bare feet? But now, after this week and learning about his name, Jacob, I can see, like, this is what happens. We gain information as we go along and as we study and as we learn. And it's really exciting, isn't it? So I was like, that's weird. Why does he have bare feet? Why is it going around his foot? Now I know. The pill in the vision also represented a seed, which I talked about. I believe in this vision, Charlie gave this man his seed, right? That's what I talked about, which after he gave him the seed, it began to grow around his feet and heel, symbolizing the story of Jacob and Esau. Exciting, right? As I interpret this vision, and as I learned about Charlie's middle name, I can see Charlie is replacing himself. TPUSA is trying to replace Charlie, but Charlie, through this vision, is saying that he is the one who will replace himself. As he works on the other side with those that are helping him, he will give his role to someone on the earth. This process that Charlie, and you can kind of compare it to like Jesus Christ gave the role to his apostles, right? So there's someone who has to take on that good role. Jesus Christ gave it to his prophet and apostles. Peter was the main apostle, and now we have a prophet and apostles on the world today in the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. This process that Charlie is involved in is coming from God, just like when God planted Jacob in the womb with Esau, and through symbolism had Jacob grab Esau's heel, which signifies and is parallel to what is happening right now. Can't you just see it? This is how we bring the scriptures to life and how we bring the other side of the veil to life pertaining to what we are going through on this earth. This man that Charlie gave the pill to will take on a role that will help not only young people, but young men more especially. This will be a man of Charlie's choosing and of God's choosing, but Charlie has a significant part in that choosing as he works with God and as God and Charlie work with this man. Peter's vision and Charlie's life. Now, as we think of Peter's vision and compare the vision to Charlie's life, we can conclude that Charlie's purpose was to bring people together, just like God wanted Peter to do in Peter's vision. God was telling Peter that he is no respecter of persons, and we're going to talk more about this. And he wanted Peter to realize that so Peter could spread the gospel without prejudice. Peter could not spread the gospel if he was a respecter of persons and if he had prejudice against people of different races, nationalities, and creeds. This man that Charlie is supplanting will be a man that brings people together of all races, nationalities, and creeds. Just like I talked about Brigham Young, who took on the appearance of Joseph Smith, and the people knew in that moment that he would be the next leader and the next prophet of the church, people will also know when this man appears and will accept that he will be the leader for young people. People will see Charlie in him. These two visions also relate to Lehi's vision, which we learned about in February. As we combine Jacob's ladder and Peter's vision, we can see that the main purpose that Charlie had and that this man will have is to bring people to the tree of life so that they can partake of the good fruit, which represents the life of Jesus Christ and his atonement. You can see how we are combining, which we will talk about more about the tree of life and its meaning probably next month, I think. You can see how we are combining all the stories that we have been learning about and all these visions, and you can see how we can use the scriptures to evaluate our present day and how important it is to recognize the symbolism and reason for these stories that God provides for us. It is a gift. We will recognize how important it is to use the scriptures in our life. I hope that this is something you are learning about this year. And by the end of the year, you have implemented these stories into your life to make your life better, more productive, and more full of joy and happiness. There is much more to say about these dreams, but for today, I'm just going to end there. Next time on Vision Dream Sunday or whatever day it's going to be, I will talk about the vision I had of Zach and Tucker Carlson. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that episode, and I will see you next time. I'm not sure when that will be because I'll probably be running a race next week. Anyways, so I don't know how much time I'm going to have next week. But yeah, so I will see you next time. Bye, everybody.